The Stepanovs were the whistleblowers who appeared in German television and in the British press. They had to go into... They revealed the full extent of drug taking. They had to go into hiding because they were scared for their lives. When Lord Coe appeared before us, I was astonished to discover that he'd neither met them nor picked up the phone to talk to them. Were you as surprised as I was?
Goodness, I haven't thought about that.
Well, wouldn't you have called them?
I've been
if you'd been in his position? I know I would.
Yeah, I guess I probably would, but to be honest, I hadn't really thought of it in those terms.
I mean, sheer curiosity, if I was the boss of the IAAF, would make me think, I wonder what story these guys have got to tell. It's astonishing not to want to speak to them, given the role that they played in this saga.
I think the key... So just to be very precise in an answer on that, you would want to be sure the IAAF had spoken to them, whether it's Lord Coe or anybody else, provided they've been properly debriefed and thanked for whistleblowing, whoever it comes from. So the question then is, were they? I just don't know.
Sure, but even on a human level, I'd want to know that they were okay, and I'd want to ask if there's anything I could do to help them.
I'd agree with... Look, on a human level, of course, yeah.
Lord Cole also told us that he had never been offered a bribe and that he didn't know anyone who'd been encouraged to cheat. Again, I was astonished by that evidence he gave to us, because given the chronic nature of cheating in athletics, it suggests that he exists in such a rarefied atmosphere above the sport that he's not really having the conversations and making the contacts that you'd expect somebody in his position would have and would do.
Yeah, and I've never been offered a bribe, and I've never directly had someone tell me that they had been induced to cheat, but one hears those stories all the time. They're trackside stories, typically, and usually it's coaches and other athletes that you hear these things from, and clearly they hear the truth. So ahead of the Moscow World Championships in 2013, a lot of our athletes were saying, some of them publicly, I remember Di Green, the hurdler, being very outspoken on the subject, that you would see people winning medals in Moscow that you'd never heard of before and you would never hear from since. And so it has proven. So I've, for years, it's been my presumption that there's significant doping going on in the world of athletics. What I hadn't anticipated or understood was the state-organised and IAAF condoned cover-up of that cheating, which is what the WADA report has flushed out, and the Stepanovs and the German television documentaries and so on. So, look, from when I first got the job 9 and a bit years ago now, one of my new colleagues lined up to tell me like it was in terms of the world of doping in athletics, going way back. Names you sat and watched on the television that you think, oh, really? And I wondered at the time why he was doing this. Was it a salacious thing? Was it to prove he knew more about athletics than I did? But over time, I've come of the view that he was, very wisely just making sure my eyes were open from day one, and that I wasn't a credulous new chairman who'd come in from outside the sport. And it was, I'm grateful for that, for the steer he gave me, because, as I said very much earlier on, you just can't be complacent in this world.
You're giving me the kind of answers that I expected Lord Coe would give us. In fact, his response to that question I've just asked you was to say something, and I paraphrase, but something along the lines of, I don't move in those circles. Well, it sounds like he should be moving in those circles, shouldn't he? Because he should be finding out what's going on. And you had a mate who sat you down and, as you just put it, told you how things were. It sounds like Lord Coe should make kind of more down there and dirty friends who can offer him a few choice facts.
We've got to be careful on the use of the word dirty in the context that we're talking about here. But
I'll rephrase, roughy-tufty, perhaps. Okay. Basically, somebody, he needs a tough mate, doesn't he, who can help him climb down from the rarefied atmosphere and find out what's going on in his sport.
I think what you need you need eyes and ears. And it's probably no different, and I'm probably going to completely reveal my shallow knowledge of workings of Parliament, but you need your whip's office, probably, to maintain discipline in the sport. You need people who know what's what, and a lot of it comes out trackside, because that's where people are doing their work. That's where they're doing their training. That's when they're, particularly in competition time, seeing their rivals, training ahead of the event, and that's when coaches get to talk to each other.
With so much going on in the sport, do you think Lord Coe should take this on as assuming that he stays in post, do you think that he should take this on as a full-time job?
No, I don't think so.
What's he doing the rest of the time that he can't apply himself to this?
Well, you'd have to ask him that. I think we've all seen his register of interests, and he has them. No, I go back to the point I made earlier, and I passionately believe in it, that if you look at the presidential role as being quasi-chairman, and again, going back to my business background, I never really think of a chairman as either being executive or non-executive. You've got to be on call all the time. Sometimes it takes up a lot of your time, sometimes not so much. But you need a cracking good executive team working to you.
Which he doesn't have at the moment.
No, he doesn't have at the moment, and he knows that. It's just go back to questions of, I used the word pace earlier, speed, impetus. The sooner that is in place, a lot of them from outside the sport, the better.
How long do you give him to clean it up before he's got to resign?
I don't see that happening. He's got a 4-year term. I'm sure he'll see it out, and I look forward to nominating him for re-election. I won't be around then. My term will be up. But I'm looking forward to my successor nominating him for re-election.
And what is the benchmark that you will judge him by? Because obviously he has to have that. You have to give him a set of targets, because you said you're going to hold him to account. So what will you judge success by or failure by in 2 years' time, halfway through his term?
It would be a mixture of things. I think the first port of call for me, which is very parochially British, is we do have the London World Championships next year. It is an opportunity to do things differently, better, more imaginatively. And so if I see his team really engage with us to come up with a new era, new age championships, that'll be a big tick. He's clearly wrestling now with sponsorship challenges for the sport, and I think that if you see new sponsors coming in on that 2-year view, that will tell you a lot about how the sport is being perceived at the time, and a number of the measures that we and others are proposing for a tougher and more credible anti-doping regime, to see those in place. That would be, on a 2-year view, that would be a great outcome if all 3 of those were achieved.
And a failure would be not to deliver those things.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's very interesting and helpful. Thank you.